So tips on fighting a more experienced or more skilled fighter. So yeah, we did talk about this one a little bit beforehand. There's quite a few little things that need to be added there. So Richie, do you want to lead off on this one?
Yeah, so it's actually, there's a lot of common trends in today's ones that we kind of spoke about. The same thing is like focus on your strength, not theirs. From a mental perspective, it's a great place to be in, especially if somebody has a massive kind of like there's expectancy or reputation, and there's expectancy on them to kind of perform really well. Mentally, it's a great place for you to be because you've nothing to lose, and you're in what's called the challenge state then, ideally, and there's more of an opportunity there for you as opposed to a threat. And that's exactly where you want to be in terms of sports psychology point of view. When you do compete, you want to be in that challenge mindset, not the threat state. And so that's good. And other than that, you need to kind of be aware of what your game is about and try to bring that to them. If there's a massive gap in experience, that can be actually a weapon in itself, because I know from my own point of view, like sometimes when you're competing with people who are really high level, and then you go train with somebody in the club who may be like a color belt or yellow belt or something, they're a little bit more unorthodox, and they'll come up with stuff that will catch you by surprise. And you might get like a twisting kick in the body or something, and something like, whoa, that's not something that you see every day. And it might catch you by surprise, you know what I mean? So it's using those strengths that you do have, and everybody has strengths. So trying to bring those to the forefront and making the job hard for the opponent is massive. Just like, don't make them settle, just put a bit of a pace on them and try to make it as difficult as you can for them. Don't let them just sail to an easy, comfortable 4-0 lead.
Yeah, and a big thing for me is actually that, like, what the actual difference is with that experience and skill. So it may be that they can do things that you can't do, but one of the big advantages that experience brings is being able to pay attention to the right information at the right times. So the game is simpler for them than it is for you. So what you need to do is simplify the game state for yourself. You need to reduce this big complex game to something that you can focus on. And so from a coaching point of view, what we'll often tried to do is say, okay, well, look, all of these things are true, but you need to focus on something that you can actually watch, act on, and implement throughout a match. So only focus on your distance between you and your opponent, or the tempo that you aspire the match at, or forget about these other techniques in your arsenal. I only wanted to use this one and this one. And that's all that you have. Because the more you take away variables for the person who's less experienced, the easier it makes their choices, the quicker it is that they can make a reaction and have a definite plan and act with some certainty. Whereas a more experienced person can keep more variables on the go because they're paying more attention. Like basically they've sharpened their perceptions to where they see what they need to see and no more, and they act on that, and that's where it's at. So they have a better understanding of their game. So the more you can simplify the game state for yourself, the better. Almost like that Tim Ferriss example of, yeah, you're going to do all this stuff, but I'm going to push you over. And that's all that's going to happen. And
no, it's a great point.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I would hope that a person could do.
Yeah, and I do think as well that it's important to note that like anybody can beat anybody else. Like that's the beauty of this, and that's why it's that way. Is that like there's no, like we always say, there's no two fights are ever the same. So because of that, there's so much variability. There is an opportunity for you, and there's like the styles create a contest and stuff like that as well. So it's like, what's your biggest strength, and then try bring that to the forefront. If you can execute that better than they can, no matter what their strength is, you have a great chance of being in there in the running when it comes down towards the end and the decision is being made. And so just like Adrian said, just bring it back to some simple things that you can really execute on.
And